Hey everyone, this is Jake Cronin. Welcome back to Blind Faith. Sorry this one's a little bit late. I will be posting it tonight, and then hopefully next Friday, or this upcoming Friday, I will be back on track. This week, I would like to talk about fighting your difficulties with God and not having God there, but kind of like as a cheerleader. Like, ask God to help you fight them instead of just cheering you on. I'll give you some examples of how we do this both ways. So, we as Christians, sometimes we kind of pray to God because we want something, but we don't actually believe it'll happen. We want it to happen. We want God to help us get through something. We don't actually believe we'll get through it. We don't actually believe it'll work out. And this isn't the right way to visualize it, because quite honestly, we need to think of it as when we're going through a hard time, when we're going through something difficult, God is able to be the one to help us out. If you kind of picture it, no, not everyone likes sports, but if you kind of picture it like a football team, imagine the first instance, you call up God and go, "Hey God, would you come to my football game for me and cheer me on?" It would be really nice to have someone cheering for me. And then picture God up in the stands. When you make a good play, he's cheering for you. When you make a bad play, he's cheering for you still. He might yell a comment of, "Oh, try this or try that," but he's not actually there. Or would you rather go, "God, please help me with this football game," and have God as one of your players on the field, is taking blocking for you? For example, in football, there's blocking. There's an offensive line that's called, and they block the defense line. They block the other team from tackling the quarterback and halfback and stuff in the backfield. And let's pretend, for example, that God is your offensive line versus a cheerleader. In the first instance, as a cheerleader, when you say hut, there's nobody in front of you. The defensive line is coming right at you. Nobody's blocking them. Nobody's even slowing them down. You have to basically run for your life to even try staying on your feet. You don't have any time to do anything. You don't have any time to do any plays or anything. Again, sorry, I know not all of you are sports people that enjoy sports, and I'll try to link into other things too. But, so in this instance, you're running for your life, basically. You're running, trying not to get hit, trying not to get tackled. And God's just staying on the sideline going, "Come on, stay upright. You can do it. You got this." And I mean, it's doing good. It's helping. But at the end of the day, you don't have faith that you're going to be protected out there in the field, and you'll get hit. Now, the second instance, you ask God to be out there on the field with you. You trust that God will help you through the hard time. So when that ball is snapped to you and you say hut, you go back to do whatever the play was, and God's in front of you. God's holding that defense line back. God's holding that tidal wave back. God's holding the defense line back so they can't come after you, can't hit you, and can't tackle you. So now that's sports for people who enjoy sports. And I'll relate to something else that I think these small people understand. Let's pretend that life contains floods. Each one of us has a river flowing past our dwelling, our heart. And sometimes that river is low and doesn't have much water flowing through it. Sometimes it's just right, and it's just a calm, peaceful place to be, the water trickling gently over the rocks. And the spring, sometimes it's a raging torrent. Sometimes it's like fast, roaring, ripping trees out of the bank, threatening your dwelling, threatening your heart. And you don't know if you're going to survive it. And even more, you don't know if your house will survive it. We'll pretend like your heart is a house, basically. And you don't know if the house will survive it. You don't know what part of the house will come through intact and stuff. And you ask God for help, but you don't believe that God can actually save your house. You You ask God for help, but you think that God can maybe save you, but not the house. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, a boat floats up to you in the flood, and God's driving. God goes, "Hop on in. I'm here for you." And you crawl in thankfully and ride away. But as you look back, you realize your heart is being torn apart. You didn't have the faith that your heart would be saved. You didn't have faith that the dwelling would stay up, and the flood's ripping it apart. The flood's destroying it. Now the second one, the same flood, exact same strength, is coming through, ripping out trees and stuff. And you're getting all nervous, and you go, "God, please help me protect my dwelling. I know you can do it. I have faith that you can help me protect my heart." And all of a sudden you look out the window, and you see God out there working feverishly, piling sandbags between you and the river, building a channel to try channeling the water away from your heart, just working really hard. And that water's not going up anymore. The sun's shining, the rain has stopped, and the water's actually going back down. It's becoming more of that peaceful brook again, that peaceful trickling noise, the calm, not too crazy, peaceful river. And that's what happens when you actually have faith that God can fix it. Because when you pray to God and you don't actually have faith that'll happen, if you think that you're left on your own, then it's basically leaving you on your own, because you didn't have faith that it would happen, and the result, it didn't happen. In the first instance, the quarterback gets hit and sacked, maybe fumbles the ball or something. Second instance, the house gets swept away, versus just maybe losing a couple trees or even losing nothing. And we have to make sure that we come to God before the flood, but also after. If for some reason part of our property is destroyed in the flood, for example, that flood of life comes ripping through, and maybe it rips off your front porch of your heart, and you're sitting there and you're like, "Man, I mean, the front porch isn't the most important thing, but I sure did like my front porch. It was sure relaxing." You can also pray to God to help you fix that, which you need to have faith in God, and faith that He can actually fix it, not just say the words, not think they'll get done. But if you go, "God, please help me fix my front porch in my heart. Please help me get this repaired." And then you'll look out there and find your heart, like God's working on your heart. And now this doesn't mean that God will do everything for you either. I guess the true example would be like when you see God working on sandbags out there, running out there to help Him, piling sandbags next to Him. When your porch of your heart collapses, go out there and start building it, and ask God to help you build it, and He'll help you build it. It's not necessarily doing it all for you. I like the saying, I've heard before, I've said before on here, God helps those who help themselves. I think it's very important to remember that, because if you don't remember that, then you're going to be just sitting there thinking that things will get handed to you. And that's not how God works. God wants us to have our free choice, and the result, God wants us to have to work. This is Jake Kruger, Blind Faith. Thanks for watching. Remember, keep asking God for help and keep working. This is Jake Kruger. Thanks for watching. See y'all next week.